So, hello everybody, welcome to another session of Holochain-in-Action. My name is Hidayat, and it is a session number 12, actually. So I hope you already have enough time or had enough time to review the previous video. So I highly recommend to, if you are new to Holochain, review the previous video. There are something that can help you, number one. Number two, that there are a bunch of useful links in the description you can find. Holochain-in-Action is a weekly virtual meeting that the people from the community gathering here and sharing their knowledge, discussing the pattern at the top of Holochain. We are also reviewing a project that built and powered by the Holochain. So that being said, by the way, the real session is longer than this recorded video that you are watching already. If you would like to participate, please go to the description again and fill out the application form, and then so you are going to be invited if everything is going to be okay. That's being said, for today, our lovely friend from the community, Guillem Cordoba, is going to implement or pair programming something, a module for a geolocation. So totally organic, pure, everything is gonna be happen. And I also invite you, if you would like to, if you have knowledge on Holochain and would you like, and if you would like to do a pair programming or share your knowledge, warm welcome. At the end, any feedback, any suggestion, anything about this meeting or this channel, anything, please come to the forum.holochain.org or in the description, please deliver your message to us. Thank you, and let's go to the Guillem, please.
Yeah, cool. So, okay, setting a bit of context, although I don't want it to be too long. So what I want to be doing today, and I think this is useful for to do in a pair programming fashion. And this is why I'm so excited that Jakub has joined also, because you have been working with maps and geolocation stuff. So if you have seen like Holochain OpenDev or different developments inside the community, we have these modules, right? So profiles, for example, is like its own module, which contains a zome, right? And here we have the profile zome that you can embed in any DNA. And you have also the UI that you can embed in your UI site, right? So we normally work like this when developing a block, right? So we always talk about building blocks, and for me these are a really important topic, right? So you build a zome and a UI that knows how to talk to that zome, and if you want to include that in your DNA, you include the zome on the backend side, you include the UI on the client side, and they work together seamlessly, right? And I think that if we are smart and we have different, like some of these zones already working, like we have profiles, we have contacts, we have calendar events, file storage, membrane roles. We are starting to have some blocks that can be used and play with. And one of these is geolocation, right? So a lot of applications need geolocation. And it would be really amazing if you have a zome and a UI and you plug them in and everything goes, right? So this is a bit the context that I want to be doing today. If everyone is all right, what I would want to do is have very simple map working, right? So being able to post something as an entry geolocated, and then download all the geolocated entries and display them in the map. That's what I want to do today. And this way we have like a stable thing that we can improve upon, right? But it's working and it's self-contained. And next times with Malumbo and also Alex Ocean, for example, that have been researching geolocation libraries and so on, we can make geolocation indexing much more performant, much more elegant, and so on. So this way we have like a stable thing that everyone can use. It's not performant, but right now it doesn't have to be in production. And after that, in next sessions, we can make it more performant and have a full solution, right? So this is the context and what I want to be doing today. Is there any question, or would you like to do things differently from that?
Just a question, DM. So you want to be also working on a lit element UI kind of basic module?
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
Do you want to be using some existing, let's say, map API, like Mapbox or okay.
Totally. Like, and a lot of these blocks are like this. Like the calendar events one is like full calendar library. Like I didn't actually code the calendar element, right? So I download the library, I fetch the calendar events, and I boom, plug them together, and they work, right? And there is a lot of low-hanging fruit in Holochain like that.
Okay. Cool.
Elemental chess work. Elemental chess from ICE is exactly that as well. Like, get the chess library, get the moves from Holochain, plug, boom, let's go, right? This is why like geolocation seems one of those long-hanging fruit here.
So, is there anything else, Jakub?
No, I just like this. And
yeah, before.
Sorry, just that I wanted to actually rewrite the view component which I was working on into lit in order to learn. So perhaps this could be a nice thing to play with on.
Totally, perfect.
So my request, and before I start showing demo or implementation, would you please just 30 seconds, a really short description, what we are going to have at the end of the day. What is the project, what we are going to have, and how, where, and in which project mostly the people can use it at the end of the day, what it's going to be delivered actually.
Yeah, so what it's going to be delivered, it's like something almost exactly like, for example, calendar events, in which you have HC calendar events zome that any DNA can pull in, and JavaScript library, so Holochain OpenDev calendar events. These two, but for geolocation, right? So a map element and a zome that can be placed and put together, right? And this would be useful in a lot of applications. Like Jakub has an application in which he needs a map and be able to say, okay, this entry goes in this point in the map and so on, and then see the map. You like social networks, calendar events would be awesome to be able to map them, right? So this event will be at this time at this place, right? This is totally necessary. And the idea is to make an agnostic block that a lot of DNAs can reuse, right? So if we have the good use case, good functionality that we can improve upon, not everyone has to re-implement geolocation. It will be already more or less done.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It is fantastic. A few short sentences about the project itself. It means geolocation, it is for saving the location of human, or so how it is supposed to be working. Project, it means the concept. Just the overview, not detail, just the overview.
Just overview. Okay, I wanted to do the design here.
Okay, let's go.
Is that?
Yeah, sure, let's go.
Right, okay. So this is what I was thinking, right? So you have geolocation zone, and then in that, Kamal, if you need any quick clarifications to just keep up with everything that we are saying, just feel free to come up with questions.
Sure, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so this is what I was thinking, right? So I really like the pattern of decoupling zones with entry hashes, right? So something like this: latitude F64, longitude F64, entry hash. I was imagining something like this. So, because with this, what you have is you can index any entry only knowing the latitude longitude, right? And if you put this zone besides the calendar event zone, the calendar event zone is able to call this with an entry hash of a calendar event, right? And I don't know, a community is able to call this pointing, okay, this community is here, right? This was my idea, and then you would have get geolocations, geolocators, I don't know, get geolocated entries, for example. And right now, today, we would do something like get all geolocated entries, but in the near future, we would do something like from, and that's a lat long, to, oh no, sorry, this is like a rectangle, right? Rectangle, lat long, rect, right? So this is in the future. In the future, we should be able to, from a section on the map, only load the things that are in that section. Am I making sense?
Okay. I would call first this one, for example, get entry location, something like that. What do you think?
Get here.
Entries location, actually, or entry location, yeah. So, it is the concept I really would like to understand first, that how the concept and logic supposed to be working. It means we are going to have the whole location or map as a different rectangle. So, or something like a logic between some distance, and we can put there, and if I can call that one, all the entry inside is going to return back. Am I right?
Yeah, with this, all of the entries are going to return back. This with get all geolocated entries.
Okay, get all and get entry location with a rectangle.
Yeah, exactly. Here you are saying, okay, I'm just looking at Spain. Give me only the things that are indexed in Spain.
Okay, index, is this a range of geolocation, or do we have a geolocation that it is inside the rectangle?
It's a rectangle. So you pass a rectangle, and the things inside should be indexed to be returned like that.
Okay.
So one question here: how someone will know the rectangle of the Spain's, say, example? So rectangle coordinates. Yeah.
Yeah. So this would be the job of the map element, right? So we are going to be using this leaflet, if everyone is okay, right? So if I'm here, the map has the job of getting this rectangle and passing it here.
Oh, so basically the highlighted area.
I'm sorry?
Basically the highlighted map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the part that I'm saying we don't know enough. Like we have to use S2 or in smart indexing. That's for the future.
So to sum up, I can say the things right now we are designing, it is the logic of a holochain application that's supposed to save and retrieve the data, entry and a location. The rest, it means conversion, bring up the map, send the geolocation, is going to be part of UI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is only the zone functions.
Thank you.
Exactly. I don't like index entry, geolocate entry. I mean, it's okay. Everything can be changed in the future, right? And latitude, longitude, I've been looking at the S2 library, and they don't use latitude and longitude, but I would wait for someone that knows, like Malumbo, for example, to explain how we can use S2 and that kind of geometry here.
And 2 sentences about S2. What is S2?
Yeah, so S2 geometry, right? So S2 geometry, it's this kind of library which doesn't use lat long, but uses like a 3D coordinate system. And I don't know a lot about it, but it seems a really smart way of indexing the entries in Holochain. So I don't trust myself in going into this right now.
That is beautiful. We are supposed to rely on another guys, yeah, to come and that is
exactly.
fantastic.
Like I've looked at the basic types and so on. They are not trivial to understand for me. So you have an S2 point, but it's 3 coordinates. I don't know exactly what should be the types, right? Anyway, I think that with this, okay, and say geolocated entry, geolocated entry, which would be something like struct geolocated entry is something like entry hash B64 latitude.
DM, while you are typing, please continue. I can add extra. So what is the strike? What is the way that right now DM is typing? And you see, actually, generally, it is the way for a while we have been practicing and working as a design. So when you see struct, it means inside the Holochain application, we need to create data structure at the beginning, if you remember, a struct. So the data structure is going to be defined by a struct of a Rust language. A struct geolocation entry, it means you're going to have a one. If GM you can publish, you can write it here, public or private, it would be fantastic. So it means with a comment, it is public, but I can guess it is. This is not an entry. Okay, so.
Yeah, I think this is the return type. The only type of entry that we need is a path.
Okay. So I suggest, I recommend that geolocate, if there is just a struct for the passing through data between UI and zone, would you please add DTO or something, data transfer object?
Output?
No, DTO, data transfer object.
DTO.
That is great. It is
sure.
It is the good standard that we know that it is just for the transferring data. That's it.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, and as you can see, like this is really simple. This is like almost Hello World in Holochain, something like this. I'm more interested in showing how we can use the UI a bit smart to index things and to reuse elements and so on. I don't want to do anything else here. Is it okay if I begin with the code?
For the beginning, it's fantastic.
Jakub, is this covering, is there in the direction that you would need to use the map, for example?
Yeah, so I'm not familiar also with the S2 geometry, but I think, yeah, I think just using the data and querying some Holochain, and so yeah, I do think so.
Cool. Cool. So I'm going to do a bit of cheating right now. Okay, but it will be a recorded cheating, so anyone can do this cheating as well. So this is a reusable module template, which is the perfect thing that we need right now to scaffold things, right? So I'm going to use this template. I'm going to put this in Holochain OpenDep, geolocation, geolocation geolocation module pluggable.
I'm going to put this link in the description, guys. You can find it.
Cool. And now it's going to go. Perfect. And this already comes with a lot of smart defaults about building blocks like this, right? So I'm just going to clone it. Now geolocation, and now let's go with code. Cool. So should I make it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just would you please for 1 minute just review this template? Generally,
Cool.
guys, it is a template you can easily, as you saw, GM using. If you want to create application, there is no need to go from the scratch. If you would like to go and learn in deep, for sure you can do it. But if you would like to speed up, so it is the way that you saw. And GM can, would you please explain all the things here, really brief, short, what's happening? Thank you.
Cool. The first thing I'm noticing that I made a typo. So this is Geolocation, but I'll change that later. No worries. So as I said, I think one of the best things that we can do as a style of developing is develop both the zome coupled with the UI that can talk to that zome. And these two are a very powerful primitive. So for example, and a zome, as you know, is like the Holochain name for module, right? So a DNA is composed of multiple zones. Now, if I want to build a DNA that's, for example, I don't know, a Google Calendar clone, I would be reusing the calendar events zome, the geolocation zome, the contacts zome from that, for example, to review the contacts and so on, and the profile zome. And if all of these have already all the zome code written and also some UI elements, I basically only have to aggregate everything, and I have basically a working application, right? So that's a bit the idea. And now here you can see this is a bit just setup and instructions, but you can see that here inside zome we have a normal Holochain project. So with the work there, zomes, and here is the actual Holochain code, cargo tom, also this is Rust backend. And UI, well, we have a normal UI, right? So with npm, JavaScript, TypeScript, actually, a package JSON with everything more or less configured, and some good defaults, right, to start with. That's a bit the idea here. Is this enough, Hedayat?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go. Oh, yeah.
So please, could you just for a few more seconds, put your command line window just to review the steps you did. So that people can just remind of what you did to actually spin up the repo.
Yeah, so I went into the reusable module template, which is a template, right? And since it's a template, I can use this template and create anything I want. And then I just cloned it, right? So I went here to the new scaffolded thing, code. I cloned this, and you can do this multiple ways, right? Git clone, and then I opened it. That's it.
Great, thanks.
Right? To see that it's working, you can go inside the Nix shell here. So we have a default.nix that logs the Holochain version that you are going to be using. And here in the dev setup, sorry, this is a bit too much. In the dev setup, it explains how to set up the repository. I'll just be doing this by memory, but everything should be explained here. Right, so I will start with the backend. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that folder instead so that Rust Analyzer has an easier time. So now I'm in the zone. Yeah, go.
So smart Rust Analyzer is an extension that you can use it for for actually see the IntelliSense. It's giving you a bunch of nice facility that it's made much more easier to develop and use ROS inside the Holochain, because it is a soft folder, it is a project, so kind of without ROS analyzer, it's a little bit harder. So that's it. It was ROS analyzer. Thank you.
Cool, cool. And now we have this convention actually, which is the to-do rename. I can just look for everything that has to do rename, and I can say hZome geolocation. Geolocation. Okay, and this is going to replace in everything that's needed. Guys, do you want me to go over everything that's needed one by one, or doesn't need to? Then we don't need to.
I think it is better to reach each of them when we are reaching, actually, instead of, because it's getting much more confusing. But for the people, I can, because it is template is to do rename something. It means you need to rename to do every place with your proper name. Right now it is geolocation. That's it.
Yeah. So for example, this is the name of the zone, geolocation. Cool. So we only have one zone for now. Geolocation would be good. Then in the cargo toml, and this is a convention that more or less me and Poshpi, for example, have started to use, which is REST crates that are a zone in themselves. We can prefix with hZome to just identify it. Whether this is a crate that has to be included as a library, or whether this is a full-blown zone, right? Those are quite different from each other. Okay, so let's go here.
Sorry, here, is there any other convention? So
I've seen if you don't have a zone, if you have a lib, I've seen just this.
Great. Okay.
I think, yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you. It was a question.
Okay, cool. So actually here we already have quite a bit of boilerplate done for us. Actually the Holochain part, it's going to be super easy, which is like, I'm happy about that actually. So we have only two files here, which is one is lib.rs, right? Which is, and this is for calendar events as a template, right? But you have to actually code anything that you want here. And then we have the calendar event.rs. Okay, so as we said, I'm just going to pull this in. We are going to have these functions, and then we are going to have geolocated entry DTO. So we could do something like types, and then in the types we can pass this in. And then what I'm going to do basically is that this function creates a path that's so basic right now, which is a path that contains all the entries, and then inside the tag I'm going to put the latitude and longitude and link that path to that entry hash. Am I making sense, more or less, what I want to do?
From my side, yes. For adding extra explanation, if you don't know what is path, anchor pattern, or link, please go to the Holochain-in-Action channel. We already recorded one video, exactly, Holochain anchor pattern. If you don't know path, you're gonna be a little bit confused here. Please pause, go to the path, learn about the anchor pattern, and then come back. That's it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Perfect. So yeah, actually this geolocated entry DTO is fine with us right now, because what we can do is geolocation input, and this, okay, I'm just going to do mod the types. So from the lib, I'm importing these types, and actually these types are not well because we need to do, oops, no, actually we need to import from holohash entry, but entry hash base 64. And this is exactly the same as the entry hash normal type. The entry hash normal is an array of bytes, but this is actually converted to string when you pass it from and to the UI, right? So it's much nicer for the UI to be dealing with this.
So I have a question here, I think relevant. So why we are going to create a link from longitude and latitude to entry hash instead of header hash? What is your strategy when you are designing your application, when you are using entry hash and when you are using header hash?
Sure.
And if we can come back that people can see you, it would be fun if it is no coding, because it is really helpful for, okay, please go.
Sure. Okay. So basically, entries are pieces of content, and headers are metadata for those pieces of content, right? So headers contain the author, the timestamp, things like that. We can't actually create links from and to headers, right? So we can only create links from and to entries. So here it's quite clear that we can't use header hash. We have to use the entry hash to link from one entry to the other. For example, okay, let's say that the calendar events, for example, we index a calendar event. Calendar event has a hash, okay, and it's an entry created in the DNA. And we index it in the geolocation zone, okay? And the geolocation has an anchor link to that calendar event hash, right? And now let's say that we get that entry hash and we want to update it, right? We can't update from the entry hash, right? Because we need the header hash to update. So what the calendar events zone needs to be aware of is that from that entry hash, it needs to go and fetch the header hash, or it needs to convert it somehow. And this is actually the, like, you have to do this no matter what, right? So because anything that you index is going to be an entry, not a header.
So logically, if I'm going to create a path to the entry, if the entry is going to be updated, logically, it is the scenario behind the scene. It means anytime I would like to fetch that entry location, I need to go, first of all, really short description. Let me see that if I have the photo here, because it make you updated that you don't need to go and pause again here. So yes, let me share here my screen here a few seconds and I continue. Generally, as you remember, we have an entry, header, and content, or actually the entry, we have a header and a content. So header, it was the action, blah, 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 content, it is element, sorry, it should be element actually, element, header, and entry. So it is. So the main question that, should we create a link from the geolocation here? It means geolocation to the, well, it is the main question, to the element or to the header, or it should be to the entry. Why it is important and why you need to always answer this question in your design? Because when you are updating entry, generally, because it is the content addressable, you are not touching this one. You are actually creating a new entry if you want to update this one with the header. And then it's going, the series of update is supposed to be in that series actually. So that's why always it is the main question, link to the entry or link to the header. So it was the explanation, and go back to the question. So what is the process? If I link to the entry and entry is updated, always we need to fetch the entry, go to the header, go to the latest version and say, hey, it is the latest version of that entry. Am I right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yes.
In which situation right now, if you think it is not good, but please skip it. When it is good idea to link somehow to header, to element, to header, is there anything in your mind that it is relevant right now? Or?
Well, the thing is, you can't directly link to a header. So the links only go from and to entries, always.
To entry, that's correct.
But you could do some optimization, like create a link and in the tag put the header hash.
Okay.
If you want to do some optimization, but normally you have to navigate between entries, not headers.
That's great. Thank you.
Cool. Am I good to continue? Anything else, guys?
Perfect.
Cool, cool. Okay, so Rust Analyzer is complaining here because I have not very good syntax here, right? So like this, and Rust Analyzer should be happier.
DTO shouldn't be serializable?
Yes, but first I want to, oh, okay, nice. Okay, that's a good example, actually. I renamed Geolocation, right, to its new name, and I renamed this cargo toml also. But the cargo toml of the overall, the top level cargo toml, I did not update. And this is the one that Rust Analyzer is analyzing. So it's complaining because here I still have to do rename zone, right? So this top level has members, okay? So it doesn't have any code. It's just including all the zones that we have here. So I have to change this to geolocation. And then, okay, and now it seems like at least it's loading. So geolocation. Yes, and we got a lot of red, basically, which is fine. This is what we want. Now to your point, Hedayat, yes, totally. We want to be deriving all of these for this track, which are required basically to go from and to the UI, right? So use the prelude of HDK to include both of these, and I think we should be good for now. So this is it. I don't think we need the calendar events.rs. We don't need any entry of our own. So, okay, geolocation input, it's actually geolocated entry DTO. We don't need any external result, and we should begin our real code here, right? What do I do? Do I delete this? Is there? I don't think there is anything really useful here. I don't think there is. Well, maybe. No, it's better to go from scratch. Okay, so everything good until now?
One topic from me, entry definition. If we would like to use a path or any anchor pattern, we need to write this line you see, entry definition, path entry definition. Right now, there is no other entry definition. It is alone path, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what I'm going to do is a helper. So when a geolocation input comes, at the end, we want to create a link, right, between our anchor and geolocation input dot. We need to do that, make that public. So public, perfect. Geolocation input entry hash, and actually what we can do, let entry, target entry hash, we have to change the base64 into actually entry hash. This is a bit of Rust verbose thing, but it should be good. Right, so what should we create the link from? So right now, I'm just going to create a all geolocation path, which this is going to be the most simple thing, geolocations. Right, so I'm just going to say we are not going to share the path right now. We are just going to hang everything over one anchor. For now, we'll see about smart indexing next time. Go.
So 2 points. The holo hash, the gray line you see here, it is the facility you would receive from Rust Analyzer. If your Rust Analyzer, exactly, if your Rust Analyzer is working properly, you are seeing this one, that you go to the code definition. It is fantastic. About a path and the complex scenario in the path, so like sharding, blah, blah, blah. The previous video, Kizona part 3, there is a complex scenario. You can gain a lot of knowledge about path in that video. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to call that function here, and I'm going to path.ensure. And this, what it does is tries to get the path. If it isn't, if it doesn't exist, create it, right? That's it, nothing else. And now we can directly get the hash. Okay, so this is starting to look good. And then the create link has the tag. And the tag is the thing that I want to be a bit tricky with to optimize for storage, actually. So actually what I want to do is in the path, put the two latitude and longitude, right? And for that, I will actually geolocation tag. Write this like this and implementing serialized bytes, right? Okay, so what I'm doing here, I will be doing is inside the tag, right? So create link can accept a tag, right? And this tag actually can be any arbitrary content. And in here, what I care about is that from this anchor to this entry, there is this piece of metadata that this module adds, which is the location, right? And this is the location what I'm going to put in the tag. Is that clear? A little bit?
Please continue. I have a architect question that after this one we can come back and discuss. Thank you.
Perfect. So let's see. Tag, which is geolocated tag, geolocation tag, which is latitude is input.latitude or geolocation location input.latitude and then longitude the same. Oh, okay, like this. And then tag, and this is not exactly right, right? Right, link tag as from, oh, okay, so we need the bytes. This is a bit cumbersome, but let's hope that in the following versions of the HDK, it's better. So actually what we have to do is something like serialized bytes, try from tag. And then serialized bytes. What does it say? I think we need to clone it, right? Okay, cool. So this is what we have. Any question?
Great. Yes, I have an architect question if we can come back.
Sure.
So always in designing application, when we are creating path to anything, we are going to start the conversation about the performance and a DHT card and below. Right now, I would like to ask my question in design in this way. So it means, let me share my screen. Here. Okay, so I would say, just imagine it is my entry. So let me put that. Okay, you design in this way that I have one entry I'm sending with a geolocation, actually, lang and longitude and
longitude.
Long.
Lat and long.
Lat and long. Lat and long. So the things that you are doing, it is this architect. You create a fixed geolocation or any string. You create a link here, and you made the object and put as a tag. So another question would be something like, and it is the entry address. It is the entry or entry address, actually. So another question would be this one, that what would be the difference about the design and architect, that we could change the location from, it means we wouldn't have this one. We create a line and long as a root of the path and just create a path. What is the benefit of each design and why we are not doing this?
Yeah. So, okay. I should have put a disclaimer. Kids don't do what I'm doing at home. What I'm doing is dumb. Like, we are just scaffolding. This is first version. What Hedayat is suggesting is much more smart, much smarter, right? So right now, what I'm doing is forget about performance.
That's
what you're suggesting is what we should be doing, is if we would design well and so on. The thing is that, yes, we could index and create a path with latitude and longitude, but actually, how do you search that? Then you search, you have a rectangle coming. How do you know if the rectangle, everything that is inside the rectangle indexed by paths? You know, that's doable, totally doable, a bit tricky, and that's what S2, that's where S2 comes in, I think. You know,
I received my answer to rephrase for, because it was a different. So first of all, the first approach that GM is working on it is fantastic, because it is demoing the more feature of a path, tagging, and we will see how it is working. Generally, to rephrase that, I got it, the point. When it is the previous version, it means if a geolocation, we can always rephrase the geolocation as a string and query this longitude, blah, blah, that we are looking. So, and we can put it here, but if we can do something like that, or something like between, or like a querying, it would be fantastic. I'm not sure that do we have it here on the query, but if it is here instead of geolocation, we need to exactly reproduce the longitude and latitude, and so it means it is more job to reach to exact location. If we are sending a bigger circle, we need to regenerate all the to reach the specific string. Thank you.
Exactly.
Personally,
and it's so last time with Kizuna, we saw indexing by time. And then you index by time this timestamp, and you query all the messages from this time to this time, right? And if the message is inside this, it will be returned. That's good for time, but actually here it's difficult, more difficult, because we have at least two coordinates, right? So at least we need to do some smart thinking on how to do the indexing, right? With time-based, it's much easier because you have the path and you share the time, like, okay, maybe first month, day, hour, that's it. And you can query a range. But here, do you put latitude first or longitude first? And then how do you have a matrix? It's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. So forget about it for now. We are just going to something that works, right? You know, this Scrum thing that we want to reach a car and first we got a motorcycle, something like that.
Yes, sure. It is brilliant, step by step.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So now actually this becomes a really easy job, which is we get the exact same path. We get the links, right? So create links is going to create them. Get links is going to get all the links created like this. So get the links from the path, and we know that this is going to be related to this because the path, this hash, it's the same one, exactly the same one, right? Okay, and now actually I'm going to do this with helpers. So serialize bytes to tag, which is you have a geolocation tag and you get a extern result of no, it isn't worth it. Yeah, sorry. So now we have the links here, which we can get the vector of links into iter map, and this is a bit of Rust Rust knowledge that you need to have. So we are converting every item inside this links vector, right? So we got the links, and now actually we have all the information that we need here. So at the end of the day, we are going to return a geolocation entry detail, right? So actually the entry hash is the link.target, right? So here the target entry hash, which is the input that we got, it's going to be the link.target, right? Now we have the tag, right? This link tag. And actually from this tag, we can get the bytes. And now we have to do something a bit strange, right? So which is unsafe bytes from tag, serialized bytes from unsafe bytes. Okay, so first we are wrapping the bytes because these are raw bytes inside an unsafe bytes, which then we can put inside serialized bytes. And now finally we can go like geolocation tag. It's like geolocation tag try from serialized bytes. Right, so it's a bit convoluted right now. I hope in following versions of the HDK, it's going to be easier.
But we need vector.
Yeah, but this is going to map.
Okay.
So geolocated entries, which is this, and then we got collect, and now this is a bit of a trick, which is okay, with this we are converting an array of results to a result of an array, right? And this is doing it automatically so that any error that we got here, it's going to bubble here. Am I making sense?
Totally.
Cool, cool. So, and then we got a working Holochain zome. Hooray. Yeah, this should work. Very simple, right? Should we go to UI and let's see if we can at least have something shown?
Yeah, would you please go a little bit up? Okay, Juno. And we didn't implement that receiving location and return back the entry. We don't need it right now.
We don't need it. Actually, I think if you have the entry hash, I don't want to do a get, because imagine this is a calendar event and you want to do the get details with the header and so on. This is not the job of this zone. The job of this zone is to be smart about indexing geolocations.
So if I would like to search inside the geolocation area, Spain,
yeah,
where is the place we are going to implement?
Yeah, we are going to change this for get geolocated entries in range. And here range, whatever, rectangle.
It is for the future, actually.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Cool. So I'm going to switch over to UI.
By the way, if you need a 5 minute or a few break, just let's do it. If
I think I'm better to go on, but depends on others also.
No. Anybody would like a break or continue? I totally okay. Just continue, please.
Cool. Okay. So now we have here this source, and we got these very cool lit elements that basically there is this new API in the browsers called custom elements that what they allow you to do is you can define new HTML tags, right? So you normally you only have P, you have A, you have table. But normally you couldn't put my custom thing, right? Well, now you can. With this API, you can define new HTML tags. And well, it has the API, but you define this tag and then you call it like that and everything works. And everything, actually, this can work in any browser and in any framework. So this is really powerful when we are developing building blocks, because we don't have to assume this is Vue, this is Angular, this is whatever. No, this is for the browser. The browser already understands it, so we don't care where you plug this in. This is very, very reusable like this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to actually create let me npm install so that we get the autocomplete. What I do is I create a class that knows how to talk to this zone, right? So calendar events service knows that there is a zone function, which is get my calendar events, and knows how to deal with it, right? So I'm just going to do exactly the same for geolocation. So geolocation, perfect, and it receives an app WebSocket, which is the connection to Holochain, the cell ID, and the zone name. And in this case, the zone name is geolocation.
Would you please explain a few sentences about the module at the top? So generally, the people knows app WebSocket, HoloHash. A really short description.
Sure. So app WebSocket is the client, JavaScript client that we have available right now to be able to connect to Holochain. So what you do is you do app WebSocket.connect to this, and this is where Holochain has to be running. Okay, localhost 8888. And then here you have already working the connection to Holochain, right? So you can okay, get me the app information for my app, or do call zone function, which is the functions that we're implementing before, right? So yeah, this is basically it. Cool. So what functions did we have? We have the functions of geolocate entry. Actually, this is conventional TypeScript, so promise of nothing, because geolocate entry actually doesn't return anything. And what I'm going to do is replicate the type that I have as a DTO, which is geolocated entry DTO, which is the entry hash. Actually, what I'm going to do, which is handy, is convert things to camel case. And then I'm going to go back to the zone and actually say that this should be all renamed to camel case. And I think this is how you do it.
And why?
Because it's conventional, basically. So in Rust, you have everything a snake case, and in JavaScript, you have everything camel case. So it's just conventional. You can do it, or you could not do it.
I think if it is not there, we would receive error.
So you will receive something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want them to be identical, you have to do it, yes.
Thank you.
So, and now you have latitude, which is actually a number in TypeScript, and then longitude, right? So from these types, you have, geolocate entry and geolocation input, which is a geolocated entry DTO, and we know that we have to call the zone function named geolocate entry, right? Geolocate. And you see, like with this structure, you get this very, very clean code, right? I like this very, very much. And get all geolocated entries, which is get all geolocated entries without any parameters, and then we have the entries, and actually the entries is what we need, so we can return directly this. And we don't have any other thing. Okay, so I think this is it. Very, very simple. I like simple stuff. And this is geolocation. Cool. So now what we should do is create a map. How would you call this? Geolocation.
Pin location, pin event, or pinning event. Huh?
But this is a component.
Huh.
For now, geolocation map. Like
okay,
we can change it whenever. Okay, so this is geolocation map. Perfect. And what I like to do is use context. I don't want to get into how context works right now, but just know that like if you know React, it's exactly the same as React. It's a way to inject dependencies throughout the HTML, right? So you have this context provider on the top, and you can request dependencies from that context provider, and this element will have them. Okay, so let's see, we have the geolocation service here. Oops, this is, I'm mistyping this all the time. Geolocation service. Okay, and what we need to do is at first, when this is first booted up, we need to do get all geolocated entries, right? And here, as a state property, all geolocated entries, which is an array of geolocated entry DGEO, right? We don't have any properties right now. Okay, I don't want it to be too fast, so stop me if you have any questions or
whatever. That is great from my side. Others, if there is a question, please.
Cool. So what this is going to do basically is on render of the element, get all geolocated entries from the service, put them here in the state, and now here we have the to render them up. Basically, that's basically what we need to do, right? For the map, I will use, as I said before, leaflet.
Yeah, let me add something here to, if it is confusing. So generally in UI, it is a web-based component. It means a component-based UI. It is a lit element. So there is one service. The job of the service, it's supposed to connect to zone, to the holochain section. It means your service, the job of the service is the separation of concern. So all logic, would you please? Yes, all logic about connecting to holochain application, call a zone function, and anything supposed to be here, not in a UI. Then when you implement these services, it's going to be injected in the actually component, geolocation map.ts. Would you please also? Yes. Then here for your UI that you can see, go to lit element and read about the first updated or render. Because the service is already injected, you can call any function from a service and you can receive the data. You can attach the data to the component. You can attach the data to the HTML part. You can update your component and so on and so forth. So generally the topic of a service and a map, it is a topic of a UI, HTML, and calling holochain application function. Thank you.
Hey. Thanks for that. So, okay, let's see if we can do this relatively quickly. I'm going to install Leaflet, and we are just going to use, okay, let's see, this l.marker. Very, very easy stuff, right? So add to map, l.marker. So it seems like in the map div, okay, so it seems like there is this L object that we can just pull in, right? So import L from leaflet.
Can you explain why you are going to use leaflet and what is
Sure,
it?
sure. So leaflet is this, right? So you have all this already working for you with a very small library, so we don't have to deal with anything map related.
Got it. It means you are going to inject this component to receive a real longitude and latitude, actually.
Sorry, did not get that.
It means in a UI, you are going to use a real, not a fake longitude or latitude. Actually, you are going to use this component to receive a real one from the map.
No, this library provides the map already.
Okay.
And what we need to do is get the things from Holochain and put them in the map.
That's great.
Okay. So, bad thing is that there are no types, but let's see if the open source community is so kind to have derived types for us. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, open source. You are awesome. So now we have things like L dot. Haha. Okay, cool. So L dot map, what can this receive? Okay, so perfect. It can receive an HTML element. So perfect. What we need to do is just declare the ID map, right? Then what we are going to do is just query it, which is a lead element primitive, which is like, it's so easy. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So HTML element. So this will get the ID, the element inside this that has ID map. So this is the div and this is the map. And now we can do L map this dot map, right?
State query, they are part of the lead element, yes?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. So state is anytime that this is updated, re-render the map, and query is put inside this variable this element here. That's it, basically.
Thank you.
So actually, this should already work. L.map, this .map, and now I don't care too much about the view right now. I think I'm just going to copy everything from here, at least for now, right? The tile layer is the images, right? The actual images that are working like this, right? So just going to copy this, add to map, which is const map. Actually, I'm going to rename to map L. So this is the map element, not the leaflet map itself. And then, oh, that's cool. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to do this, which is actually here, this is latitude, longitude. So we have it pretty easy, which is for const geolocated entry of this dot. Also, we iterate, we add, and this is geolocated entry dot latitude or longitude first. Lat long first expression, lat long, latitude first. Okay. Latitude first, longitude. That's perfectly cool. Yes, so this should start working already. Actually, if I change this to geolocation map. Oh, wait, the index. This actually should all be good. Okay, so now this is the demo index.html. So this is a TypeScript library that we're going to publish to NPM. So everything here should not assume any index.html. This is just for demo, right? So this is geolocation service. This is geolocation map. Names, I don't really like the names, but it's just for now. So we have geolocation service, which is exactly like this. We have geolocation map, which is exactly here. And we have geolocation map here. Right? So I think this should at least render the map. What do you think, guys? Is it going to work at first? I pretty much know the answer of that.
I recommend just search in your Visual Studio Code search element, the calendar event, that if there is something you forgot to rename, yes.
Ooh. Yeah, I did, but it's on test stories. What is this? Yeah, this is actually documentation, right? So thanks. I think it's all non-essential, non-source stuff. So I want to care right now about this source code and then tooling and documentation after.
Thank you.
Cool. So now what we need to do is actually go to the zome and build it. So cargo build, and maybe I'm going to lag a bit. So bear with me because Rust is pretty much yeah, all about compiling times.
So yes, right now you are trying to build zone inside the Holochain application. For sure, then we are going to create one DNA after DNA HApp bundle. We already discussed all of them inside the video that you can find in the sandbox and conductor. So just before starting, till you need more time, what strategy in which command you are generally bringing up one instance really easy, handy? What is your...
So here in the package.json, I have the start. Let me know if you cannot hear me well. Like I can't do anything, much anything. So start, when you do npm start, what it does is start the UI and the holochain, both, right? So it brings up holochain with HC and actually like this. Start holochain with HC generate port 8888, and then the UI, it sets the conductor URL 8888 as well. So these two connect to each other.
So
right? All that start does is execute.
Guillaume, as you could guess, your voice is right now actually is breaking because of the download. I can explain. So in the package JSON, there are two commands: start UI, start holochain. In the holochain, it is using HCS generate. Generally, HCS generate, we already discussed all other commands in the sandbox. HCS generate is a really shortcut and one brief version that automatically go to the path that you can see in front of you and install the application on the port 8888. And about the bootstrap, I think your voice can be stable, you can see. And other configuration for the networking, you can install, oh no. So start holochain with this command, one app is going to be installed using this actually quick network using this bootstrap that maybe, I don't know, today or another day we can discuss about this bootstrap, how to create it. That's it. But Guillaume, you can start talking if there is a problem.
Almost there.
So go ahead, I can hear you. Go ahead, I can hear you pretty good.
Yeah, sure. So everything that you said is pretty much spot on. We have also storybook documentation, which in the future would look like this. So imagine, hey, I want to use this module, and you go here and you have the documentation about the elements, right? And this is also built in, but this is for another day. Oh, we have compiling issues. Okay, so let's go to the zome actually. Okay, next shell. Go into the zome, cargo build. Okay, what's up? Oh, it's not, wait. It's like this, right? Yay. And now we just pack the DNA with workdir pack. What's happening? Okay, so it's telling me that the DNA.yaml Aha. Geolocation. Geolocation, right? Because it's not finding the wasm. Now it's finding the wasm. Let's see if we need to do the same for the app. We have the application now installed, the sample hub.hub. This is the Holochain application actually, right?
So one extra explanation from my side. If DNA and hApp is new to you guys, go to another video, as I mentioned, sandbox and conductor. Full description, you can find it. Thank you.
Cool. So now we should be able to just do this and enjoy our day. Right. Let's connect conductor ready. Yes, feeling good. Okay, let's see, we need to do this. For sure, some error. Does not provide an export name default. So we need to configure the common.js, right? I don't want to get into why this is needed. Just know that sometimes the web is weird. Leaflet, and we need to actually compile things differently. No, it shouldn't be here. Sorry, it shouldn't be here. It's here. Yeah, exactly. So this is leaflet. And start again. Yeah, and this is a bit annoying, but the web is the web sometimes. So there are people that export common.js, there are people that export ES modules, which are the good guys. Common.js is evil, everyone. Okay, so it says requested module does not export geolocation map. Oh my God. Today it's not my day for typos. Okay, so we got something. Let's see. So ID map. Okay, maybe this is because of CSS, maybe. Let's see, maybe we missed something in the documentation. Quick start guide. We need to put this after, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to put this in our head. There is a better way to do this, but for now I'm just going to put it here. And with that, I need to disable shadow DOM. I don't want to get a lot into what's happening right now. Just that it was missing CSS, right? And another time we can talk much more about why it's important and what is happening. So mil pigs hate mil pigs. Oh, actually, this is not working well.
And would you please go to the network to see if there is some request that it is missed? Go to Control F5 if you can refresh to see.
No, it's all good. Like this Fabico, it's an icon. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
All is good. So we should go to the map and say with this hate. Okay, so we got a map, everyone. We got a not very useful map. With sense. Okay, it seems we need to set the location, set view like this. Map dot set view. No, it's okay if we just do it like this. this is okay for now. Oh, and then in this style, so we are just going to do the CSS, and this is for the map. We say height, this, and with exactly the same. Oh, what's happening? It's not applying. Why is it not applying? Oh, that is interesting. ID map.
Can you add important? Explanation mark import.
Let's see, but I don't think this is the problem. I think I know what is the problem. Interesting. Okay, I think because I disabled the shadow root, I think I need to put this here. Yay! Okay, so we got a map of London. That's a good thing. Now, the thing is that we are loading pointers from Holochain, but we don't have any pointers. So for now, just to demo it, I'm just going to create a dumb pointer so that we see what it's like. So actually, I can do service.geolocate entry, right? Which is what we defined. And in the entry hash, I will cheat a bit, which is I will put the agent public key that is also an entry, right? So the agent public key of each agent is an entry on the DHT. So it's an easy way for me to just put a pointer in there to see if it's working. Latitude, I'm going to just copy this exactly, which is this longitude, this, right? Let's see. Oh, so we got an error while communicating with Holochain. That is interesting. Deserialized missing field entry hash. Missing field entry hash? Now that's weird. Because here, camel case. Okay, maybe let me Google that. Rust serde rename camel.
Yeah, generally, I received a lot of this error when there was a problem in the. Huh?
It's rename all, not rename.
Okay.
Just going to compile again. Ooh. HCDNA and hCapp and restart. Okay. But prefix entry hash. Oh, that's right. Oh, I cannot do my trick. Oh, that's unfortunate, actually. Okay. So this is complaining because the cell ID actually is of type. No. that should be actually, oh, I don't know. Let's see if I do I have the core types? I do have the core types. Let me see if this works. So you remember that we said
so
that
Guillaume,
instead of
at first, let's discuss what is the issue actually, the bad prefix.
yeah. So cell ID 1, this is the agent public key, and it's actually a binary array in this case. And this expects a string.
Yes.
So we need to convert from byte array to string. I think. So we have this serialized hash helper inside Holochain dev core types, which we can just use, right? Oh no, bad prefix entry hash. Right, because this is agent public key. Agent public key actually has a different prefix from entry hash. Okay, let's try to. It's okay.
Can we mock something fake data?
Exactly. We are going to do. Oh no, actually we can, because create link will fail. Oh, this is funny. Okay, let me see if there are alternatives to that. Okay, for now, what we can do to just show that everything is working is change this to actually agent pub key.
Or a string. A string is not good option.
No, because then this create link is not going to work.
Okay.
Right. So this entry hash, we are going to put agent pub key. So we need to do the transformation, but apart from that, everything should work. What's up? Into, and then the other transformation, which is this is an entry hash, and we need the agent pub key from link target. And this is just for us to be able to show that this is all working, but I would not put this in the final version, right? And just import let's see. Yay!
Yes.
We got it. We got it. So yeah, it's quite dirty as of now, but it's a start, right? So what it's doing right now is it's geolocating an entry, which actually it's an agent public key, but never mind. It should be an entry, whatever entry you have in your DNA. And this map is directly this element that goes, fetches all the geolocated entries and puts them in the map. Right? And this is what we see here. And actually, every time that I update, it should be another one. And yeah, I think the shadow, no, the shadow is not getting more, but actually there are multiple markers here, right? So if I go here and I do this, oh, that's a long, okay, sorry, that's a long way, like this. No, I don't know how geolocations should be working, or maybe we have some problem here. Okay, we should be able to debug this pretty quickly, but at least we have it working. First basic case. We already have gone quite out of time, so I want to leave it here. But I think this is a good reference for us to go back to and to build from.
That is perfect. Really, thank you. It was amazing job. Amazing.
Well, thanks. I hope this is useful also for people to understand a bit this approach of building blocks that work well, and then at the DNA level you can compose different blocks together.
For sure, it was amazing. So we know how to have a beginner actually for the location to start. So I think there are two paths are going to be open in front of us to continue improve the solution, and another one to reuse it in another application. So how we can reuse this geolocation module inside another application. Step by step, we can use it later on. Even with the peer share, we can have another session and inject this one in the peer share and use it inside the peer share. I would love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you too. How do you, Kamal, I'm interested, how do you saw all this process?
For me, it's definitely going a lot over my head because I haven't gone through the link and those few things. Like I need to basically definitely go through all the videos and see the basics. But yeah, it seems like it's really interesting that how the different modules just come together, and it's so easy to create a application using the existing modules, just like tweaking them a little bit. So yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Guys, if there is any technical question about this module or the whole topic, please, otherwise we can stop recording, and then if there is extra conversation, we can continue. Any question related to the things that GM did, this pair programming, the logic, or GM, is there any final sentence or anything would you like to add?
No, I just think that this kind of thing, if we're a bit smart and we start developing like this and helping each other out, identifying common needs, we are going to be so much better. Like with ICE, we have started doing that, and pull profiles, pull invitations, and you have 70% of the work done. It's like, oh, thank God. And now you love yourself from the past, and you love everyone that has contributed also. So it's like, yes, this is like a small step in that direction. So I'm happy.
That was a great job today. Kian, that is great job. Thank you. Really, thank you. So I think the story about this geolocation can continue. Another part to improve it, another one to reuse it exactly in another project that we can see how we can reuse other modules. So for today, Jakub, anything?
Yeah, and just a question, DM. Do you plan on using leaflet, or were you just like picking it because it was easy? Yeah, just asking whether it's already decided which mapping component you're using.
No, it's not decided. I just looked for libraries, and I already used Leaflet in the past, so it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go with that. It's really simple, and it is really simple, but totally open to other alternative, and you will have more experience. So yes, just recommend whatever we should use.
Cool. So we can perhaps connect afterwards, because I was using Leaflet in the beginning and then shifted to Mapbox GL because it was more agile, I guess, in like displaying different kinds of data and stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Sounds awesome. Thanks, Jakub.
So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, the friend came today, and special thank you, Gian.
Yeah. Super
It was fantastic. So we are going to finish the recording and hope to see you here next time. Thank you, and I love you.